The farmers-herdsmen conflict has now become a menace in Nigeria, with reports of such face-offs in one part of the country or the other, leading to the death of scores of people, rampant in the media. Hundreds of people have been killed in 2018 alone in violence involving nomadic herdsmen in the states like Benue, Plateau and Kaduna. And TVC's Tai Amodu takes a look at measures the federal government is presently considering as permanent solution to the crisis.
Farmers and herdsmen had lived peacefully in the past, resolving whatever little skirmishes they may have had amicably. But in recent years, a new menace has dotted the Nigerian landscape. A contest for land between farmers and herdsmen has snowballed into violent attacks that has resulted in sacking of farming communities, with many innocent killed, and properties including farmlands destroyed. While farmers have mostly been on the receiving end, herdsmen too have been attacked, with their livestock rustled and communities also ransacked. Many Nigerians have become internally displaced as a result of this. It has prompted calls for a declaration of herdsmen as a terrorist organization. Understandably, the Nigerian government has not done this, considering the fact that it would be labeling a certain profession and the ways of a certain people with a dangerous tag, just because of the activities of some renegades. Beyond the loss of lives, the Nigerian government estimates that the country loses about $14 billion, 5.04 trillion naira annually to the conflicts. It has sought to know the root causes of the conflict, and from its findings, the solution may even be more complicated than the problem. 3 groups have already been identified as fueling the crisis. Cattle herders from across the border who now seek greener pasture for their cattle in the Benue Valley because of increasing drought and desertification in their lands. Renegades among Nigerian herdsmen who have taken to cattle rustling, armed banditry and kidnapping to make easy money. And lastly, remnants of fleeing Boko Haram insurgents who have migrated away from areas of conflict and changed their strategy to cattle rustling and sacking of communities to survive.
It happened before in Benue. They arrived with AK-47s, and as far as they are concerned, there's a war going on in Nigeria and they've come to fight. So today I said to the media, this thing looks no more like herdsmen and farmers clashing. It's looking like an extension of Boko Haram. Because if you go to a church, you kill priests and members in the morning. And there's no cattle you're coming around with. You just arrive, take people by surprise, or you go to an IDP camp where people are returning to their villages, and just 2 a.m. you shoot everybody and march on. Something more sinister is going on. And you can be sure the government is sending more reinforcement to trace these people around the bush and bring them to order.
The problem is made more complicated by the free flow of small arms and light weapons, now available on the black market following the fall of Gaddafi's Libya. Nigeria's porous borders means herdsmen from outside the country can gain easy access, wielding AK-47s instead of shepherd sticks for protection. At this breakfast meeting, many relevant stakeholders are present at a presentation of a plan which the federal government believes contains the permanent solution to the farmer-herders conflict in Nigeria, which has claimed the lives of thousands over the years. The plan is presented by the technical advisor to the National Economic Council, Dr. Andrew Kwasari, and is built on 6 pillars: economic investment, conflict resolution, law and order, humanitarian relief, information education, and strategic communication, as well as cross-cutting issues. 10 key states are identified as the frontline states to receive pilot interventions and include Adamawa, Benue, Ebonyi, Edo, Kaduna, Nasarawa, Oyo, Plateau, Taraba, and Zamfara states. The plan would include creation of large ranches in each of these states, with a ranch design plan proposed to be clustered in 94 locations in 10 pilot states. But this new plan will not come cheap, with total spending over a 10-year period estimated at about 179 billion naira. It is an ambitious plan expected to transit the country from pastoralism to ranching in order to reduce the struggle for common resources.
The security situation we find ourselves today is a spillover from the resources that drives the conflict. So what is causing the conflict? Three key things: the resources, land, water, pasture. This is it. We made sure that the interaction was free and everybody said their mind. And we were not talking to association, we were talking to pastoralists, the ardos with their cattle and then the crop farmers to hear. And that is how the pillars emerge. So these 6 pillars seem to be what state after state, they said these are the core issues and they are all related.
As beautiful as the plan may seem, it stops short of addressing the challenges the federal government itself has identified, such as what is to be done about the country's porous borders and the free influx of herdsmen across. Besides, government seems to be conflicted about how to resolve the problem. The National Economic Council had banned open grazing in areas where conflicts were most prevalent.
This administration.
Yet the Defense Minister, Mansour Dan Ali, had, after a National Security Council meeting, insisted that the escalation of the farmer-herdsman conflict was caused by states who introduced an anti-open grazing law within their claims, and these laws must be reversed.
People just want to pass laws.
The Agriculture Minister is optimistic that such differences of opinion should not cause a hitch in the implementation of the National Livestock Transformation Plan.
The thing is for us to reform the livestock industry here and eliminate all the conflicts and the pain that this crisis is causing. As for the minister's opinion, it is his view. We in NEC and the Ministry of Agric know that there is a different way around it, and we are pursuing it. And that's what government has given us responsibility to do.
The success of the plan will depend on a strong partnership between the federal government and the state governments, which means bringing both parties on the same page.
It's not a member of NEC.
Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom, whose state has witnessed some of the most violent crises involving nomadic herdsmen, still has views of his own and insists that ranches set up in his territory will not only be subject to laws, but will be taxed. He is particularly bitter about the leverage he feels has been given to umbrella bodies of the herdsmen, whom he says escalated the crisis in his state, and utterances of the defense minister, which he believes makes the top government functionary a mouthpiece for Miet Yala.
I have no land. At this food basket of the nation, my state is not an industrial state. My state is a civil service state, supported economically by the farmers. That since 2011, killings were going on. We came in 2015. So what we did was to try to find a way. And I think it worked out well. It is just that in Nigeria, there are certain people who are sacred cows in Nigeria, and they have immunity that is not backed up by the Constitution. Otherwise, these people called Miatiala, especially Cotton Hore, should not be moving freely in this town if we had a system that respects the rule of law and due process.
The issue of easy access to small arms and light ammunition and vetting foreigners who wander into Nigeria must also be addressed if the plan is to have any chance of success. Tai Amodu, TVC News, Abuja.